Sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm, 855 Mike Wins. Jason Carr Live starts now.
What is the national panda?
We're doing some last-minute research.
Good morning, everybody. You are watching Jason Carr Live right here on ClickOnDetroit.com and Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Jason Carr is off again today, so as you can see, I'm not Jason, and
What?
he's not either. But
I wish.
But you might recognize him.
I'm back.
You're back. You took the day off yesterday. I thought
did?
you got sick of me.
Well, Jason was on this stretch of days off, and I was like, dude, what are you doing today? And he's like, I blew off work again.
Oh, so you
wanna
guys
blow
are
it?
hanging out.
So we blew off work together, went to Lego Batman, and got into trouble.
Nice. Well, I'm Rhonda Walker alongside Brandon Rue. It's our final day of co-hosting for Jason, who, for all of his fans out there, will be back tomorrow. But he is getting so much deserved time off, which we are always happy to see with any of our people that work here, getting a day off or two around this winter break time, and we need a little break from winter, although we've been getting a break by just staying at home.
It's been nice. We've got some breaking news coming into the Local 4 newsroom here, and so to share with you here on Click On and Facebook Live.
So take a look at this. You're looking at a train that derailed. This is happening in Pennsylvania, and it's outside of what's called the 69th Street Transportation Center in an area called Upper Darby. And I know, Brandon, you were kind of trying to get a closer look of the area where this is, but it's somewhere outside of Philadelphia?
It is, just to the west of downtown Philadelphia, so likely a commuter train taking folks in and out of the city of brotherly love, coming in and out of work on this Tuesday, a lot of which probably had President's Day off, and so the trains are probably crowded. I know there have been injuries, as you said, Rhonda, reported injuries. Officials and witnesses say that several injuries on board, and just looking at the destruction, the aftermath here, it certainly makes sense when two of those trains collide, not only just that collision, but the ripple effect from car to car to car.
Absolutely.
On the backside of that. You're never expecting it, and if you've ridden on a commuter train before, you don't usually buckle in.
Right, and so that's kind of the concern right now. The extent of the injuries is what we don't know, but we do know that several injuries have been reported. So again, it's outside of Philadelphia. A train derailed there and crashed. We are going to keep you updated as we learn more, but we'll continue to monitor the situation there in Pennsylvania. If you have loved ones in that area, we'll try and keep you updated on that. On a lighter note,
actually, right now the photographer is making his way to a better vantage point, so
Okay.
we'll come back to that one.
Okay, all right, John, thank you.
Yeah.
I was trying to make a huge transition here, just on a lighter note, which is very difficult to do when we're talking about something so serious.
Yeah.
But it's like the talk of the nation right now from the Nation Zoo in Washington, D.C., of the panda, a resident panda there that is on its way off to China.
That's the research I was busy at work doing as we came in. How to pronounce Bobo Bao Bao.
It's spelled B-A-O, and Bao Bao I'm going to go with.
Okay,
Is
Bao Bao.
a giant panda that has been at the National Zoo there in Washington, D.C., but because of an agreement with China, once the pandas that were born from actually apparent pandas that are from China that were gifted to the National Zoo, and so whenever a panda is born and gets to the age of about 4, the agreement is that it then gets sent back to China to birth more babies for a little more breeding. And so we'll get more pandas back, and there actually are other offspring right now, but for Bao Bao, who I guess is a real favorite for children and families in the National Zoo, he's going to be leaving in a few days, making a big trip to China.
Normally with this nature stuff, I'm the go-to. You are a plethora of
something?
information.
Pandas are cute.
They are
They
cute.
look so cute and cuddly, and I know they're not, but from the minute that they're born, we always get amazing, cute video of the birth of pandas and, following their lives. They're just these big, cuddly bears that you just want to cuddle with.
Very
but,
precious.
But you can't.
No, and we had the escaped red panda at a Virginia
That
zoo
still
or
hasn't
something.
been found, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm having a feeling someone's making it a pet at home.
Could be. They're a lot smaller and potentially less dangerous, but probably dangerous nonetheless.
So I want to tell you Bao Bao's trek to China Chengdu, China, out of Dulles International Airport in Virginia. It's going to take a 19-hour direct flight on a personalized FedEx plane. I don't know what that's like for a panda. 19 hours. She's going to be like, what? What happened to me? Or he, it's a boy. Accompanied by the veterinarian to make sure everybody is okay. But this, it's a 60 pounds of bamboo and other treats that are going along for the trip as well, so he won't get hungry.
Well, a lot of, bamboo, maybe tranquilized.
To kind
Maybe a
of
little rumbu. Rumbu, bamboo.
tranquilize, maybe just to sedate a little bit, because you might freak out being on a plane for 19 hours when you're used to being out in the wild, enjoying life.
No.
Well, controlled wild, obviously, at the zoo. But so that's
Good things await,
happening
though,
there.
in China.
Yeah,
Baby making.
right. I don't know if Bao Bao is a boy or a girl. You guys know? I don't know if Bao Bao's
No,
gonna
but let's
be-
look into it.
What role in the baby making Bao Bao is going to be taking?
Well,
But I'm going to leave you on that note.
Okay.
I'm going to go do a quick live cut-in on Local 4, and then I'll be right back.
do it.
My typical exodus.
We do have a little light rain moving in.
All right, you talk about that. I'll be back in
Yeah,
about 5
real
minutes.
briefly. And John and Jake, you guys jump in at any time and take away the show and take us to wherever we're heading next. But
Yeah, well, let's talk about this Snapchat thing. This is kind of interesting. They came out with Snap Spectacles back in November, and these little pop-up places were showing up, these dispensaries, Snap Bots, and they're $129. They're just a pair of sunglasses that have a camera built in and Bluetooths to your phone and takes 10-second videos for your Snapchat account.
just constantly?
Whenever you
Or-
push the button, it's got
okay.
a little button on it and takes the video for you. Now these started popping up all over the country and drew huge lines, and they would sell out within hours.
Right.
And, yeah, just completely random. And there was one that opened in New York that had an 18-hour line at some point to try and get these things. Now they're available on the website.
That's kind of what they look like, or do they have different?
There's a couple different colors.
Oh, neat.
And these are the big thing. The IPO is supposed to be released here in the pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but it's really interesting how this is drawing so much attention and how they're being so mysterious about how you were able to get them before. It was really difficult. So now they're available to everyone.
Yeah, and I guess if you don't know that somebody's recording you, I think, was it Google Glasses that
Yeah.
had? Yeah. Some people, I never really care because, try not to hide anything that we do. I'm as big a weirdo in private as I am here. But if you're not a fan of somebody recording you, those have two pretty obvious, not only lens-looking things on them, but they're yellow or green or whatever, a little off-putting. And so you might ask, John, Jake, are you recording me? If so...
But I guess that's kind of the beauty of what Snapchat was, is that it's supposed to be conversational and that these videos delete themselves after they're viewed. So even if you are being recorded, is it really the worst thing when it's on Snapchat?
Just a short life.
Yeah.
Whoever sees it. So those are, what's the new thing on those? Those are now going to be a semi-permanent location.
The semi-permanent location in New York closed.
It closed.
Now they're available online to buy. Before
Okay.
you actually had to go find one of these dispensary locations that just would pop up.
Did we ever have one show up in
None in Michigan.
Metro Detroit?
No.
Okay.
No, that's too bad. Now, how
As
about
trendy as we are, come on.
Yeah. Now, how about this shark? Did you see the shark yesterday?
I did. This this has me concerned. As I've gotten older, one of my phobias has become, sharks. And, Shark Week doesn't help.
No.
All of the coverage you can get at any given hour on the Discovery Channel. But it just seems like the number of sharks on our coastal waters is increasing. And some of the data does prove that. So this showed up on Click On yesterday, right?
Yeah, this was, where was this? Volusia County in Florida. It's either a black tip or a spinner shark, and the entire lower part of its body was missing. I guess Volusia County has the largest number of unprovoked shark incidents in the state in 2016, and the lifeguard went ahead and posted this saying, anyone up for a swim? LOL, I guess there's something even bigger out there. Hashtag black tip, hashtag where is Catherine? which is the name of a
great white.
14-foot great white that they have tagged.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of them in that area within maybe 20 to 50 miles that they've tagged or been tracking. Big great whites, that is. And that's the part that really scares me. Now, these unprovoked shark attacks in that area, I think, are usually those blacktip and spinners, and they may grab an ankle or do some, I don't want to say minor damage. You're still getting bitten by a shark, and they can, tear into your Achilles or calf or something like that. But really, the ones you want to avoid are the great whites. And the proof is in the picture right there. That's a 5-foot shark just in half. And oof, man, what else could have done that, really? Maybe a killer whale, maybe a hammerhead shark, something like that. Those are pretty active in and around the coastal Florida waters, but usually in the Gulf side. This, I believe, was on the Atlantic side. And crazy. It's hard to see just from that faded fin if it was a little bit of a black tip or what. But that's the kind of stuff that has me scared. I went to Cape Cod last summer, or 2 summers ago, and that's an area that has a huge population of seals, and like California and the seal populations out there, that's where you find the great numbers of them. But every night at 11 o'clock on the news, they have a great white sighting or report saying, hey, a 16-footer off the beach of Chatham. And I'm thinking, Chatham, that's right where I was today. So I went on to my knees, and that was it.
It's terrifying. It's the black eyes, like a doll's eyes, right?
Man, just freaks me out. Absolutely. Anybody else out there? We've got you on Facebook Live here. Tammy, our good friend and viewer every morning, says it's scary. What the heck is in the water that bit it? David Wagner says that is why I like the Great Lakes. No stingrays, sharks, or jellyfish. Amen, David. Let's see. Diane says, I don't get why people are scared. That shark isn't that big compared to others in the ocean. Well, that shark was the bait, That was the problem. Yes, Rhonda, we're talking about the shark. Can we show Rhonda the picture?
Oh, yeah.
Get your microphone.
This is a half-eaten shark.
Well, this is a 5-foot shark that...
Oh, man, guys, really?
So... Welcome.
I don't want to see that.
That was, they still don't know what it was, but John and Jake are telling us that there are reports.
Another shark?
Well, Catherine is a reported great white that's been tagged in that area.
Where is this?
Down...
Volusia County.
I know where that is.
Well, that is on the Atlantic side, north of Miami.
I think it was West Palm where we were seeing some aerial video of the sharks are everywhere. It is.
Yeah.
They are much
polluting
further
the waters.
inland, and there's a lot of them. So.
Yes.
Maybe one bit the other.
Diane says.
It looks just like the same type of chunk you'd see out of a surfboard that a shark would do.
It does. It looks exactly like
that's
that.
That's what it reminded me of. No, don't show it again.
There it is. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to need a bigger shark.
I'm charging my phone. I'm at 20%, and I haven't even talked to anybody today.
Well, Diane says my fave beach in Florida. Still?
Ooh, stay on the beach. Go to the hotel pool.
It's north of Daytona Beach, says Erica Lynn Clark. So she's familiar with the... So that's pretty far up there.
And I'll have to tell you, a lot of folks from up here are down in Florida right now, taking the winter breaks. We've seen a lot of people come and go just from our newsroom heading down. I went down to the Miami area about 2 weeks ago, and I thought the water was too cold.
Was it?
I went to go get in the ocean, but then I stepped back because it felt ice cold to me. So I was more of the pool girl.
That was a sign.
Anyway, it's a good thing because
the
sharks
gods
are biting each other.
I always figured that
That's how hungry they are.
Warm water was not conducive to a lot of shark activity for some reason. I think the great whites prefer...
They like it a little cooler?
Cooler, yeah, certainly in
cooler.
California.
Even though the weather is really warm.
Yep, so...
You know who I see right now? Rod Maloney. He's just over there working away. Will you come over and say hi?
Come on
over,
Rod.
Right now. I know he's working on something good.
What is he, on the phone?
Oh, he is.
Oh, he's like Bluetooth.
All right, we'll try and get him over because I know our live in the Facebook Facebook Live friends always appreciate
wonder what
seeing some of
Rod's-
the folks in the newsroom.
One story we kind of passed over, but the Russell Industrial Center closing.
Yeah.
I wonder what Rod's feelings are on that as
Yeah,
sort of
we'll
a
get his
business.
take on it
Yeah.
too, because there are multiple businesses. I think there's close to 200 different types of tenants that are inside of the Russell Industrial Center. It's a huge campus there, but they received the letter that you're looking at right here telling everyone that they had to go, that the building is not meeting certain building codes, they're in violation in many areas, and that everyone has been ordered to vacate the premises. But the real reasons are fire and also structural violations. You may remember, because the Local 4 Defenders actually did a story on this not too long ago, taking a closer look at several of the violations that Russell Street has had in the past. Now, there's several different types of tenants there, lots of artistic types of, blown glass companies. There's, I
Considered one of the greatest concentrations of artists
Yes.
in the Midwest,
So
and
it
that says a
affects
lot.
a lot of businesses. I think there's a gym there. We showed you some of the kettlebells, that kind of thing. There's a gym that's operating out of there. I think
Right.
they have a music studio. We were talking about Russell Street, the big, industrial
Yes.
area over there. This is Rob Maloney, our business editor, and just
Is it okay if I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
block the camera.
Come on in.
But we just wanted to. I know the vendors did a story on this, but just to kind of get your take, because we're talking about over 100,
Not to take yours.
over
That's all right.
100 businesses that operate out of there right now.
Remember the fire out in
I
San
do.
Francisco?
San Francisco. That's exactly what I thought about.
Therein lies the problem with a lot of this stuff. In Detroit, because, especially during, the bad years during the bankruptcy, a lot of stuff was allowed to sort of crop up that otherwise wouldn't be tolerated anywhere. And I think that, one of these things that as the city starts to get its legs and starts to do enforcement the way it should have done all along, I think you're going to see stuff like this go by the boards. And I think that Karen's story, kind of pointed that out.
Yeah.
And so the city of Detroit is going to start acting like a city. That was always my frustration for the residents of the city who pay
Right.
the highest taxes in the state.
They wanted those services.
And that stuff like this goes on and nobody seems to quite care. And so,
The last thing we need is a giant, step back,
Right.
black eye when we're progressing in the right
Right.
direction. You see the growth, and then all of a sudden, like you
Right.
said, the San Francisco. Not saying that would
Yeah,
happen, but
right.
I wasn't that familiar with this situation. I just on Facebook have seen a lot of reaction by people saying, I mean, if you've ever been in that building or if you know anybody who's been there, it's no surprise there are a lot of issues.
Right.
But then you're talking about tenants who are willing to take that risk. And
Well,
now what happens to them?
But again, does the city act like a city? In other words, do you do a business? And we always heard about Detroit's underground economy, where a lot of things were allowed to operate. Well, the city has no licensing there, right? If you're operating a business without a license within the city, now if you go in any other city, you can't do that, right? And Detroit did a lot of stuff like that, allowed a lot of stuff like that, because the city itself didn't work like a city. So I think that as the city starts to grow into that entity that it probably ought to be, much like every other place, you're going to see stuff like this happen. Now, if you're operating with a license and everything's going fine, okay, that's great.
Right, it's not
But
like
if
they're
you're-
picking
but it-
on this
but if
particular
it's-
building
but if,
or
if
the
this
tenants.
this is an underground economy kind of thing, you're going to kind of have to watch for that.
Well, a lot of the renovations that happened at this place were done without permits,
Right.
without anyone checking over and doing inspections.
Right.
But it'd be sad to see another factory be vacant.
Well, yes, among many it's difficult to watch, but at the same time, this is the kind of stuff that happened during the city's low point. Now it's starting to take lift off and starts to have
And
to
you
act
hope
like
that, there's enough other opportunities for these businesses. Maybe they'll have a short setback, but they are able to find a home somewhere
Right.
else.
You
There's
would
certainly a lot
certainly
of
hope so.
redevelopment happening
Yeah.
here. We see buildings that are being
Right.
refurbished and renovated every single day here in downtown.
The other thing is you have to remember that as cities start to take lift off, like Detroit is starting to do, you get that gentrification thing. Okay, you get the businesses that are well capitalized coming in operating as they're supposed to, whereas the businesses that were able to subsist, and I think that that's an important thing, they're subsisting, right? They found that little place and a little niche in an economy, but at some point you have to sort of operate as a legal business. So I think that that's where we are.
You have to assume the responsibility.
We have a good question from Facebook. Someone's asking if the owner could be jailed or forced to make updates.
Probably. You know, I don't know if jailed. I don't know if it becomes criminal. I think you start
maybe it becomes criminal if they continue to operate after they've received these letters to vacate.
Yeah. And again, that's a remnant of old Detroit, right? These businesses that, you know, the buildings were vacant. The people who ran them didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Right. But hopefully the people understand that they are operating in a business in an environment that could be dangerous. That there are these codes and for a reason. And if something were to happen, they could put their businesses, not just their businesses, with their lives in danger.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
If they can make the changes and get it back up to code, which sounds like it's some pretty vast improvements and changes that need to be made, then the businesses get to stay.
Sure.
But otherwise, they might have to find a new home.
That was Dolores who asked the question about the owner accountability, and I imagine if the owner's accountable, they get everybody out, they make renovations, they get everything up to code, and all of a sudden, guess what? That cheap maybe artist rent isn't the same
so cheap anymore.
And there's something to be said about artists sort of working together in more affordable grassroots sort of housing, and they probably dig on that, but in the meantime, it could be a fire trap for a lot of them.
Could be. Yeah.
So, hey, I want to ask you a quick question. Are you able to tell us what you're working on today and what we can watch for later?
Well, I will say this. We last week I did a piece on Shelby and the they call it the special drainage district that was done, that cropped up. They wanted to put sewer lines in around between 25 and 26 Mile Road.
Up in Shelby Township?
Up in Shelby. We have found an interesting, very sad case, actually, of what this now special district is doing to one particular family, and it's one you're going to want to watch. I don't want to give any more away, but it's one that you're definitely going to watch. And then there was a Rose Township murder, and I'll be going to talk to some of the family members, Search for Justice.
Yes,
I'll be talking to some of the family members. They're reopening that case,
and also a very large reward as well. I think it's up to $7,500.
I do believe
begging for any kind of new information on that case.
Cold case.
Wow.
All right.
Well,
thanks,
thank you.
Rod.
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much.
your perspective,
I was
especially from the business perspective.
Yeah. Well,
that's what you do.
Strangely, that's how I look at the world.
Well, we like seeing it through your lens. Thanks, Rod.
All right, John, Jake, what do we have?
We're talking about the bowling alley. Now, this was last night that Mara McDonald did at 11.
U.S. Marshal involved shooting on the west side here.
Oh.
Okay, we're just hearing this is breaking.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
This is breaking news that we're just getting in a U.S. Marshal involved shooting on Detroit's west side. So we're going to Tuxedo and Linwood is the area, so we're working to get more information on that. We'll, of course, be sending a crew over there. So this is kind of how news happens here in our newsroom.
Rod, your story just changed.
Right over this wall behind Brandon is our assignment desk, so we're monitoring, of course, all of our sources in terms of getting news in, including police scanners that you probably can hear.
It's the beauty of the 915-ish or the click-on set here is that it really butts right up against the assignment desk. So, and the digital, everything going on digitally is right here as well. So everything gets funneled right out behind us, and so we're hearing it just happen.
Right. Well, one of our breaking stories last night was this brawl that happened at the Thunder Bowl Lanes, which is a huge bowling alley in Allen Park, very popular, but this got a little crazy. What night was this that this happened, John?
I believe this was
Was
Saturday
it over the weekend?
Night. Yes, it was over the weekend. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll take a listen to her package.
This place used to host bowling for dollars. It's hosted so many Pro-Am tournaments I can't even begin to count them all. So when you see this video, you'll understand why the owners here are not going to stand for it. Take a look. It got nuts. A group of about 8 men fighting managed to wreak havoc in one of the club-like rooms off the main bowling alley. In the brawl, a local rapper is in the midst of a melee where plenty of punches are thrown, including at this young woman. Tonight, after taking that blow, she doesn't want her name out there, but she did give us a phone interview. Are you okay?
I'm absolutely fine. I'm just trying to protect my brother.
Her brother is in the middle of the pile. Tonight he has a black eye but is otherwise okay. She still has no idea who the man is that hit her.
No, I do not know him at all. And he didn't hit no other dude there either.
So what brought on the blows? A fight over a woman who wasn't there. Thunderbolt already charges a cover to get in on the weekends, but management tells us after this fight, it's time to get tougher and will probably start doing purse checks. They think people smuggling in booze are the cause of the mess. Thunderbolt caters to families in leagues, and those who have been coming here for years are disgusted.
It's sickening. Dr. King said the worst criminal ever is those with no morals. So people need to start wising up and using your brain and just be peaceful. It's all about peace and love, not all this senseless violence. It's crazy.
Back here alive, expect to see those new security measures go into place here probably for this coming weekend. And according to Allen Park Police, they're not investigating because no one has filed a report. We're live in Allen Park tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
To see that, especially in a place that's supposed to be for families and that's supposed to be family fun, and to see anything erupt into violence like that is certainly troubling. So.
Well, the young girl got caught there defending her brother, or just trying to make sure her brother didn't get into trouble, but she got rocked to the ground too. Yeah. And sneaking in booze to bowling alleys, or just the booze that goes on a lot of times, whether it's softball or bowling. Yeah, it does. I loved the comment in there though about peace and love. Just try to. We're preaching to the choir. We know that out there for all of you. But man, if there was a little more of that, it'd be a little less.
It'd be a lot more peaceful place. So let's pray for peace and love today. So I wanted to know what the Snapchat spectacles are.
Oh, yeah, you missed
I'll
this.
admit I'm...
Okay,
Oh, you talked about it already?
We did.
No, we'll
That's
talk about it
okay.
real quick. Well,
I'll
just
get the
mention it.
replay.
Now, these are the new Snapchat spectacles. They've been out for 2 months, but it was really difficult to get your hands on them because they were only available at these pop-up locations, these dispensaries that would show up.
These things John was saying that they would just pop up, unannounced in the middle of nowhere.
That?
Yeah, right along the highway I-80 in central Iowa. They're
of all places?
No, I'm just kidding. But they didn't
completely random.
Yeah, they randomly. So there would be
and you
limited.
could get the glasses out of that.
Out of those, but they would sell out right away, and there would be line around, 2 miles around those things.
So then what? How do the glasses work?
So now you can get the glasses.
There's a little camera inside, and takes the 10-second video and Bluetooths it straight to your phone and puts it on Snapchat for you.
Okay, can I just tell you, this is the first thing I've seen that's actually stylish.
They do actually.
Remember the
they
Google
don't look
glasses?
that bad.
They were not stylish. These look pretty good.
So
$129.99.
Yeah, well now they're available to buy online.
That's
Before
expensive.
you had to wait for one of these pop-ups, and now
But that's how much
just
they are.
Yeah,
$130.
I mean, for a high stylish pair of shades, it's
that have a camera in them that can.
I think the Google glasses were more, business oriented. You were wearing those with a purpose to record something maybe a little more detailed.
You can still be stylish at the same time.
Agreed, but these are Snapchat, social media, blue, pink, yellow. What's up? What's up, girl? 10-second little.
Not in a business meeting.
No, it's just let's record a 10-second video of us, drinking at the bowling alley. Wait a minute,
get it.
what
That's
happened?
a good perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what do we have next?
SpaceX.
I thought
for the
this was
third
cool.
time, they've launched and landed a rocket on solid ground.
Do we have video of the landing? Because
every time they do this great
impressive.
video stuff, and this one was done from a drone.
Wow, look at this. Right on target.
It was about 4 inches off to the right.
Oh, come on!
What?
That is fascinating.
That is pretty awesome.
All right, so for the third time, SpaceX has landed its Falcon 9 rocket on solid ground. It launched from the Kennedy Space Center on Sunday morning at 9:39 in the morning, and the main section of that rocket flew back to land right on the landing strip there near Cape Canaveral Air Force Station 9 minutes later. So, success.
That is pretty awesome, and you just think about what it took for that to happen. So you've got a rocket out there, and at some point it must sort of parachute in, right? In order for it to sort of turn right side up again, and then they can reactivate the jets to get it to slowly come back
the
down.
company, they plan to reuse the rocket, slashing costs and also allowing it to offer reduced pricing. SpaceX and Boeing are scheduled to bring flying crews to the International Space Station by the end of 2018. So right now unmanned, but in a little over a year, there'll be people on that thing.
Meanwhile, David and Carol Wagner have hooked up on Facebook Live here. Hey, Mom. Hi, DJ. What are you doing on here? Pretty awesome.
Cute. That's really cute.
Hey, Jason Carr joined.
Hey,
Are you
Jason.
serious?
Good morning, Jason.
Hi.
You'll be back tomorrow.
We've been having a blast. I don't know if we're going to want to get booted out of your seat.
No,
It's
but
fun.
Well,
yeah.
since he made it here, let's do our cat tax. All right.
Oh, what's that mean?
Well, we do a cat tax. Our viewers are forced to look at cats.
Ow.
Oh.
Ow. Somebody was throwing a French fry at the dog, and the cat says, Look at the big.
The dog almost bit the cat's paw off.
And he's still going for the French fry. Like, come on.
But it was almost a perfect catch there by the
Yeah.
cat. I mean, it was a good try. Fearless. Got a fearless feline.
Yep.
Got to give it up for that.
Once again, last night I was watching Lion Gangland, and
Oh, you tough guy.
well,
What
it's
is that?
It's about the different tribes of lions, and
They have gangs?
well, they call them gangs, but they're documenting these things. But just amazing how fast and how quick they are, and how accurate they are in their pouncing and their anything.
So that little kitty has got that gangland mentality.
He's got just a little of that in his genes. The Lion Gangland.
Nice. What's Jason saying? What are you up to, Jason? We miss you.
Sean says, morning, Rhonda and Brandon. We miss you, Jason, Tammy says.
Aww.
We all miss you, Jason. Yes, Michelle Burke says we miss you. Let's see. Mike on here says, get Brandon off of there.
We're sick of Rhonda.
Rhonda's got to go.
Hey, can we talk about spring training? Did you guys talk about that yet?
No, we didn't.
Excited. Our
Yeah.
Tigers, they're back in action. It's been a week or two that they've been down in Lakeland?
Yeah, about a week that the pitchers and catchers reported, and they're just now, I think, starting to throw to actual live batters, so they're out of simulation.
Okay.
And a week away or so from actual
Yeah, they
preseason
have
games.
their first game against Florida Southern College. Really, they play a college team?
They do. They play college teams down there.
That sounds fun.
And it's
that's
usually
on Thursday, but it's nice because a lot of folks are taking their winter breaks, and so they get an opportunity to see the Tigers, get a chance to interact with them. In fact, our Bernie Smilovitz is there right now doing his live reports, so you'll see his reports a little later on today. He's been talking to the players and getting a feel. Most of the team is pretty much the same from last year.
And I think the team was a playoff team. Had Zimmerman been healthy,
right?
Had Sanchez not been so up and down. I know he was a new father. He was going through some things, and hopefully Annabelle is figuring things out because he's got some good stuff. And I think Justin Verlander, one of the best pitchers in the league last year, and sort of flew under the radar. He was
he missed the first part of the season.
He did, just the very first part, but then he came back so strong, and he was a Cy Young nominee. If there is such a thing. I know his name was mentioned in there, but I have a feeling that they're going to do very well this
and I
year.
think there's something to be said about it being predominantly the same team again. They're meshing, they're playing well together, they're developing together, and that could probably spell good things in terms of improving this year. And I think they all went to, especially with the passing of Mike Ilitch, Mr. I. I know that a lot of people are playing in his memory and really trying to hope to do some great things in honor of him and all that he's done for their organization.
Little extra spirit. Go Tigers, says Tammy. Will they wear the Mr. I patch? I think
have no doubt.
Red Wings are doing that, right?
Yeah, I have no doubt they'll do
Bernie
a special tribute.
Caught up with Tigers catcher James McCann, and we've got a quick interview here.
All right, cool.
He desperately wanted a championship and didn't live to see one. Does that weigh on the team? Does that weigh on guys? Have you talked about it?
Absolutely, especially for guys like Verlander, guys like Miggy that were around when he was a little bit more active. But even for myself as a young guy, I was only blessed enough to know him for a couple of years, but I had some very meaningful conversations with him, and his passion for the game. There's nothing that more than he wanted was a championship. I think that everyone realizes that, and everyone would love nothing more than to win a championship in honor of him.
Now, I just thought of something.
Yes?
Bernie's in Florida.
He is.
I think we know what happened to the other half of that shark.
I got hungry. I hear shark is pretty good, though.
Bernie's a good swimmer. Tell you what, look out.
Well, we are all optimistic about the Tigers. Much anticipation, of course, for opening day here, which is on a Friday this year. So all those partiers can take it all night here in downtown Detroit. Let me give you the date. You guys will probably be able to look it up sooner than I can, but I was recently looking for it, and I'm like, yes, it's on a Friday.
Doreen says this is the year for the Tigers. Every year is the Tigers.
Opening day is
happens.
April 7th, when it all goes down here in downtown Detroit, so that'll be
It's
fun.
my dad's birthday.
Hey, you should bring him in.
Bring him in for opening day. Let's do it,
hang
Dad.
out. Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us on Click on Detroit and also Facebook Live. We've enjoyed chatting with you, and hopefully
Hi, Matt.
Jason will let us come back and visit sometime.
Yes, John, Jake, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank
It was
you.
a fun little ride, but
Yeah, it
we
has been.
very much welcome Jason Carr
back in
to
the
his 9:15-ish.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Stay classy, Detroit. Jason Carr Live is sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm, 855 Mike Wins.